All right, hey guys, I'm back with you here on Thursday, May 24th. I'm going to finish up. Now I've got EOS here to Bitcoin. Now I should say that we did poll the members for this pick, and they had actually in the polling requested EOS to the dollar, but I did that just 2 days ago. So just to offer a little more variety, I thought I would do EOS to Bitcoin since we hadn't done that in a while. I thought the count was more interesting here. So a little bit of a modification, but they'll be similar. Now, looking here, so here's EOS to Bitcoin on Binance. I've got a 3-hour chart here so we can get the full history of it trading on Binance. Now, I've had to relabel this a couple times. Right? It's often the case with an Elliott count as the market reveals itself. You're often, having to rethink the count that you thought maybe was in play, and having to reevaluate it. So I've got all of my work on this now, but if we back out here and get a picture of it, we can, this parabolic move here, high probability that's a third. Now the question was, where was the third within the third? And this, a couple of different ways that it had been counted along the way, but I think this is the count that fits best right now. So if we look at the full history of it, so I have us here as a 1-2 into a 3-4, right? So this, just if you brought that up without anything on it, that may be the first thing you go to, and often the easiest thing to see is the count that you end up with. Now, I do think there's a little nuance here. I think we actually end up with a truncated fifth from this as my fourth. I come up here and I double top up here. I think I do get a truncated fifth. A couple of reasons that I think that. But if we allow for the 1-2, so to put that into the context and show you what I'm talking about, so if I take my absolute low here and I go up to my truncated fifth, what does that do to my second? Well, you can see here we go right into the golden zone, right into the pocket, and then look at the rip up. And now we know that the negative 100 will be very close to the 1618. So if I were to chart that out and we take my low here to my 1 projected from my 2, and you see this as I pull it over here, we almost get it to the tick. So if I get right there, so we're just a few shy of the 618. So that's that's pretty much close enough for me to call that a 3 relative to what I see here. This reaction here, we just blow right through. We're almost to the third target. So clearly a third wave there. Now let me pull some of this off, since we've made the case there that this is high probability target for my third right here, right? So with that established, I can take this off. We know this is a key pivot up here. So certainly from a 1, 2, 3, 4, now we got to pay attention to the 1. Now I'm wicking off both because they're both valid as potential resistance. I do think that this is 4 pushing into 5. So thus I'm marking both of them. Should they be threatened here by another move down, I want to pay attention to any reaction I get at either one. Right now, I've got that as the 1, 2, and the 4 going in. Well, so if we think we've got a 2 and a 4, we got to look at the relationship with the third. So you can see here, now we had originally thought that the buy was here, and that we were going to push out of that, and there was the possibility that we had that this was a third into a fourth going up for a fifth. Well, I still think we have that scenario, but I think we've now got a little more complexity in this correction, and I've changed the count a little bit here. So I think we have a completed 5-wave structure here to give us this third, and given that technical confluence zone that I just laid out for you, I think that works better here. So it's a little tricky. The third was a bit tricky, but there is a count. So if I go here, I'll go down to the 1 hour here, and well, look at this. What made this tricky was this bit right here, where we have this. We have to count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, because we can't get 1, 2, 3 or 3. It just doesn't work. We don't have the subdivision that would allow for an impulse wave in the third. So we have to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I can get a 3. Now my 4 would be over here. So I get an impulse here. Now I go up to my 5 here, and then I get a shallow 4. So that was where it was a little tricky, but it plays. So if we allow for that, so let me pull this, get this off here. So if we allow for 1, 2, 1, 2, meaning this completes my third here, well then I do get a very shallow 4. So up from my 3, I get it here at the 23. Now, not unheard of, right? In a very strong market, that's not uncommon that I would get my fourth at the 23.6. So given that I need that for my fourth, so I want to at least see the 23 before I start going up again. So from the 3 to the 4, then I go up yet again, and I get a 5 into that, and it's a little bit of a, you know, it's 1, 2. We get a very, very short little 4 in here, but it plays. So this qualifies for a third. I get a shallow 4, and then I kick one last time for a 5. So from my 4 here, I get a 1, 2, 3, 4 up for my 5 to complete the fifth of the third. So I think we're solid here with a good pivot on, and note here the negative 1618 to the tick from that 2 to that 4, adding validity to this whole idea that I've got a technical pivot up here. Right, so more confluence to confirm this as a third, the negative 618 being the extreme algo target here. So that just adding to that is my third. Well, now that there's so much of crypto, we're having these challenging corrections. And it's challenging to know where we are and where it completes. And you know, we have now a contender here for a fifth to be in. So looking at this, I do get my first rip down. So coming off of this technical confluence zone here that completes my third, I come down hard, and so I get my A, then I get my nice little 3-wave B. But now we've gone into some complexity here, so I'm going to pull this off here. So I've just drawn a channel on this, and the fact that we're breaking out of that is, you know, is encouraging. So I can look here. I get my A. Here's my 3-wave B, and then I get here's 5 into my 1. A, B, C into my 2, and then it would appear that I get 1, 2, and then I've got all the subdivision here. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give me all the subdivision I'm looking for in my third. I come in for my 4, and now the 5 is left hanging a little bit from an algo perspective. So if I pull from my 2 to my 3 low, you can see here, so nice. We wick right into the 38, and then we roll over. Now it doesn't make the algo target. It gets left hanging. Now, so we can think about why would that be? Well, we were so here the 50 is right here. So if I draw it, so if we work from the 2 low to the 3 high, so here's our 50 reaction. Again, trying to get through it, but you know, it could just be that we're completing that fifth. We're trying to get that fifth completed here. So that's, you know, maybe a front run on the algo target. That's not unreasonable. We've got to see if we go into a motive wave here. We have the potential for now for a 1, 2, 3 going in, 4 and 5. Can we come off of this low with a motive wave to create the possibility here that we're just getting started now with the 1 wave, and it could be the 1 wave of the 1 wave. Looking at how much higher this has potentially to go. So even just looking up here at the algo target, off of this 50, right? We know algos will keep buying there, and they will defend it down to this 618. Now note here these prior pivots. If we're going down one more time here, if there's another kick down, well, these prior resistance points potentially coming into play here as we approach that algo target if we're coming down one more time. Right now, I think that looks less likely. I think we have a good potential pivot low here. You can see the low volume node here as we came to that. So we've got a good contender there to complete this ABC. Now, granted, the symmetry here of the C relative to the A and B, you know, it's not textbook. It's not ideal. You would, you know, the length of time of the C is disproportionate to the length of time of the A. But you know, here we have a clean 5. So does it play? Well, if that's going to be my 5 there, I've got to come out of this. As I was just saying, we got to come out of it with a motive wave. So far, you know, if I go down to the 15-minute, we've got a contender there. It's possible. We've got a 1, 2, 3 going in. So if we look at it, so if this is going to play as my 5th, well, I could see I've got a 1, 2, big 3. Look how we go right to the point of control. Then potentially now we could have our 4 going in. So let's think about that. So if that's 1, 2 going in, 3 up here, 4 coming in. Now, can I get that 5-wave structure? If I can get that, then that adds validity to the idea that I've got a good low here, and then I've got the contender for the 1 wave just coming out of the hole. Can I come out of the hole with 5? If I can, then that adds validity to this as my low. So now I would wait, see what kind of reaction I get here. Am I going to get the 4 or 5? Right now, we don't even know if we get that. But if we get that, then that would give us a 1 wave of something. So the safer play here is to let that resolve. So do we come down here, come up for the 5, and then do we come down in a 3? to give us a contender here for our completed one wave, our ABC, and then the buy, the next opportunity to be the buy is right there. So we get 5, wait for 3, look for that to be technical, all right? So so again, I'm hypothetical here. So we know a 2 between the 50 and the 618. So something like that, I think has real potential to be in play. So, you know, first we got to wait and see, do we get the 4 and the 5? Right, because we can't be definitive about that until we see it realized. Do we get that, and then do we correct in 3, setting up the opportunity here? Oh, what is that? 154 to 150. I mean, definitely contender. So let's pull that all back. So if I'll go back to the hourly and then put it in context. Well, does that make sense? Well, if this is 3-4 and the 4 is in, well, we're just getting started. So candidates for the 5. Well, algo target would be 1. Oops. God, so annoying. So algo target would be 1 right here. So that's a contender. So that's what we had, 290 sats. So, you know, it's, you know, not bad looking trade. So we got to go all the way back to the 3 hour to get that whole thing in context. So we can look at the length of the 1 from our proposed 4. So I can take my absolute, come here. I can take that low here, projected from my 4. Here's the 100, 127. So there's a little confluence up here at this 290 sats. So one to be watching. If you're getting in here, it's just getting started. We've got real potential for this to head up here and finish that 5th. So again, trying to get some precision into the next entry. I'd say the more conservative play is to look for that, to complete in that 5, look for your first 3, and then we're on board looking for the 5th. All right, guys, if you want to know more about what we offer to you, if you're interested in this kind of trading methodology and how to apply it to virtually any asset class, doesn't matter. Chart doesn't matter. It's the same approach every time, and that is its power and the strength of this approach. So if that interests you, give us a visit over on TradeDevils.com. We've got a members-only Discord that very active. There's just a lot of great content on there. So a lot of things for you to engage with us on. If that's of interest to you, TradeDevils.com. You can learn more about it there. Okay, guys, that'll be it for today, and we'll be back to you tomorrow.